Hello, welcome to another episode of Clues, Cues and Reviews, the second video of the day. My Hero Academia, back on Hero Academia, chapter 118. Another one of those chapters where I felt it was a bit short, but it may be just because I enjoyed it. Now, as you know, I've been a fan for My Hero Academia for a while. I've been harping on about it. I tried to kind of get into it very early, way before the anime was announced, way before the hype from the anime came about and people joined on the bandwagon and everything else. So I've always been a fan of it for a very long time. And as you know, for my reviews, after the whole All Might versus One for All thing, that was like mega hype at that point. It kind of simmered down, and I was just looking for it to get hype again, and this is that moment that I really want to see something happen. So before we get into it, Black Clover, whenever I get scanlation for it, if it happens before 10 PM UK time, I will do a review. If not, expect that on Friday, tomorrow, as soon as I can. But bear with me, without further ado, let's get into this review. So it's not really a 5-point review, and I am looking to change up my thought process and my reviews. I hope you don't mind. Any thoughts are welcome below. I'm trying to structure and change the format, add quality where possible. But let's kind of get into it. Let's discuss things. Now, the first thing, let's just get this out of the way. Is a big question, and I want to ask it and give you my thoughts on it. So we have the situation where people now aware of the fight that's going to happen. That camera looking dude made Eraserhead aware of it. Eraserhead is ready to make his move. Of course there's going to be consequences to this, but as he opens the door he gets stopped. We don't see who, we just see an outline that looks normal. It doesn't look like shriveled up or like decrepit like All Might is right now, but somebody stops him. And I think it's going to be one of the seniors. It could be Ida. But it's definitely one of either the teachers or senior members that we know about. And the idea is, for me, it's probably a case of they're in a situation where the relationship is taking a turn for the worse, potentially can become better, and it's important for these young youths of this world, namely Izuku and Kachan, Bakugou, to have this moment so they can develop as characters, move forward and get past this impasse that they're at. Because ultimately, if you keep stopping it, it's just going to keep building and become worse. So that's ultimately, I think, whoever it might be. I think it's All Might, could be Ida, could be one of the teachers. I think that's basically why they're stopping that person. So that's the first thing. Or it could be completely different. It could be that there's a villain there. We don't know, but that's what I think it is. Anyway, let's kind of look at now this fight. Now this fight is a lot of posturing, a lot of, I want to beat your ass, why do we need to fight? There is that throughout this chapter, and I'm not really going to go into the intricate wording and details about that. That is what it is. I'm not going to go to that technical breakdown. But there's 3 core elements of this conversation, this engagement, this confrontation. Number 1, it's the thought process of Bakugou, the first element of it, and it's about, for a person who was always in front, on top, leading the way, him being weak, Izuku being weak, Kachan being the strong one, for them to be left behind and now trailing somebody who he thinks is weaker than him, it doesn't sit well with him. For a person who they both believed in All Might, it doesn't sit well with him that he has to follow somebody weaker. We see flashbacks of conversations where, Izuku's level 1, I'm level 50, although he can develop, he's never going to be as good as me type of thing. And he's beginning to regret that confidence in a sense, because now the tables have turned. Ultimately, there is an element to that is missing. He has to understand it's not just about the battle prowess or the technique or the power. It is about the application of the power, how you adjust to certain situations. That's why he's really failed, not because he's a weak dude, but because the application of his ability, his mannerism, his attitude is what's failed him as a hero. Not necessarily as a fighter, but as a hero. So that's what he's missing. Now, then we find out what's truly bothering him, the true kind of really core inside. What's the issue? The main issue is his guilt. And he's been holding it for so long, and the reason why he feels that way is because he holds himself responsible for All Might losing his power, his secret coming out, him not being able to be a hero no more. Now this is important because we find in this chapter that he was a big fan of All Might. So you can imagine being a fan of somebody you looked up to, and it's because of you, in your eyes, that he is not able to do what he used to do, what you looked forward to or looked up to. So that's been hurting him for a long time, that he wasn't strong enough, he was weak, he got caught, and because of that everything happened. So that's what's bothering him. That's the true thing. I mean, there is ego to that, which is the first part, but the second part is really what's bothering him. And that's what I like about this, because if you read the chapters, you think, oh, he's a prick. You think he's just an obnoxious dude, but he's not that bad of a guy. And truly, if you take away the superficial personality, he's truly a nice guy. He just doesn't know how to express it. It's just something how I feel when I read him. He's one of my favorites, and I like the badass side to him because he's the perfect foil for Izuku. Now, the third element is something I really enjoy in manga in general, and it's like the Bushido way, the samurai code, how to express your feelings in any shape or form. When words don't go that far, you fight. And that's basically manga, I guess, in general, right? So that's basically what's happening. He's passing on, getting through to Bakugou in the only way he thinks he knows now, which is to fight. And he now has stood his ground. He goes, let's fight. He put up his dukes. He's ready to go 3 rounds in the octagon and go for gold. You know what I mean? I really like that, because this is him showing his resolve. Bearing in mind, in that fight he caught Bakugou a few times, that kick was beautiful, and that shows that 2 things. Number 1, Izuku's evolving. Number 2, Bakugou is blinded by his rage and his guilt, because he's quite a sense dude. He's got good battle prowess, battle sense. For him to get caught like that shows that he's not ultimately fully taking everything in. I think now that he's gonna go for gold, I think really now we're gonna see what they can do, and I think Izuku's gonna show why he's the chosen one, why he's the main character, quote unquote, and why he's been progressing, because he's earnest, he's hardworking, he's driven, but he's pure in that sense. He's accepting his flaws, he's accepting his weaknesses, and not being driven by ego, but for the need to get better, to protect his friends, his family, be a hero, and live up to the hype that is All Might. So that's basically the difference there, in my opinion. Anyway, that is the review, that is my thoughts. Let me know in the comment section below, or on Reddit if you want, absolutely fine. As always, thank you for viewing, liking, commenting, subscribing and sharing. If you haven't been doing that, please continue to do so now, or start to do so, I should say. I greatly appreciate if you subscribe and follow me moving forward. I want to build a community, I want to start growing this channel, I want to share my thoughts with all of you, and hopefully progress some theories and comments in the section below. Anyways, thank you very much as always. I'll see you next time. Peace.